Welcome to Cricket Flashback Channel.
Kumar Sri Ranjit Singh Ji, better known as just Ranji, innovator of the glance, one of the greatest batsmen the world has seen, later the ruler of the erstwhile Western Indian state of Navanagar. I suppose it was he who, with his remarkable performances for Sussex and England, first drew the attention of the then international cricketing authorities to the future potential of Indian cricket, and indeed to India, in the long run, being accorded Test recognition in 1932. It's not very well known that India was supposed to make their first appearance in Tests in 1930 and in India. But the anti-British feeling in India at the time, it being one of the peaks of India's freedom struggle, forced a postponement. And so the match was held 2 years later, and here at Lord's.
His Majesty the King at Lord's, where he greets the English team and the All India 11 during their only Test match to be played this year.
Well, Indians felt slightly nervous because they had never played a Test match before, and there were so many people shouting. Well, Muhammad Nisar was very fast, and he was all the time threatening while he was running towards the batsman.
My most vivid recollection, really, I think, is of the two Indian bowlers. Of course, we'd never seen them in this country before, and Nisar and Amar Singh. I don't know whether I got the right pronunciations or not, but they created a very good impression with the England team, and I think Nisar got at least 5 wickets during the first innings. He wasn't quite so successful in the second because Jahangir Khan, also a lively medium-pace bowler, did very well. I think he got 4. But in spite of Nisar and Jahangir Khan, I thought India's best bowler, he didn't get as many wickets in this particular match, was Amar Singh. I thought he was a magnificent bowler. The wicket was a little more lively, maybe, right at the very beginning, but we did get an unfortunate start. I think Percy Holmes was clean bowled by Nisar almost immediately, and Herbert Sutcliffe got out fairly quickly, and then from England's point of view we had a minor tragedy because Frank Woolley, who was probably one of the best batsmen in England, although he was getting on a bit, he unfortunately got run out. And then I think the skipper went in next, Douglas Jardine, who stayed there, and I think he was undefeated, certainly undefeated in one of the 2 innings. I think he got 85 not out. Then, fortunately, I went in and I got missed, I think it was a stumping chance before I'd scored, actually. And then I managed to stay with Douglas Jardine for quite a time, and we recovered and got a respectable score. But even so, it wasn't a very big score.
My feeling all the time have been that I was a good bowler against left-handers. My ball moved away, which the left-handers did not like, and perhaps it moved at a speed which they never gauged. I told my own cricketers I'll get 2 men out, Boole and Penta, because both were left-handers. Our bowling was certainly better, in my opinion, than the bowling of the English team.
Amar Singh has scored his 50. Incidentally, the top score for his side during this match. India are all out with a total of 187. England win by 158 runs.
Douglas Jardine then leading the recovery there for England with good support from Leslie Ames in the first innings. Mohammad Nisar, the leading wicket taker for India. India conceding a first innings lead of 70 runs, only C.K. Nayudu impressing with the bat. Bose and Vos sharing the wickets for England. Jardine once again showing the way. A good innings from Eddie Painter, England declaring on 275 for 9. Jahangir Khan among the wickets for India this time. Only Amar Singh in the lower order putting up a resistance there. India losing by 158 runs. Flattering figures for Wally Hammond. The Indian batting improved slightly when the MCC visited India in 1933-34, with Lala Amarnath becoming the first of 8 Indians so far to score a century on Test debut. Then in 1936 at Old Trafford, Vijay Merchant hit 100 and shared in a match-saving partnership of 203 with Mushtaq Ali, who too got 100. But to lower these feats came along Vijay Hazare, who at Adelaide in 1948 recorded 100 in each innings of a test.
But almost 2 decades, nearly 7 series and 24 tests after their entry into the highest level of the game, India still had not won a test match anywhere. In fact, the Indians were 1 down to a none too formidable MCC squad under Nigel Howard in 1951-52 when they went into the final test of that series at Madras.
Because of due, I have to introduce my spinners early, you see. Mankad especially bowled very well. He took 8 wickets for 55, and in the second also he got 4 wickets. England batted really started well, but when Gravney was out, we thought we will do better, you know what I mean. Pankaj Roy started well, and I think his 111 with 14 or 15 fours really helped us. Then the second was Umrikar, who played very well. It was a great win for us, really. And that too after playing 25 test matches. That was the first win ever, and I had the pleasure of being the captain of India.
England not really cashing in on winning the toss and batting first in this final test of the series at Chepauk, Madras. Mankad the hero with 8 for 55. Apart from the hundreds there by Pankaj Roy and Polly Umriga, a good knock of 61 by D.G. Fatkar. England bowling fairly unimpressively. And the Englishman once again collapsing to spin, only Robertson getting a half century. And Ghulam Ahmed sharing the spoils with Mankad.
As for Mankad, he proceeded to make an indelible mark in cricket history as an all-rounder. He set up a new record by completing the double of 1,000 runs and 100 wickets in no more than 23 tests. Only Ian Botham has improved upon this feat since. Indeed, one of the finest and most famous of his Herculean feats was here at headquarters, when he, in 1952, scored 72 and 184 and bowled a marathon spell of 73 overs, taking 5 wickets for 196. This match is widely and not wrongly referred to as Mankad's test.
Back in India, more triumphs awaited Mankad, the first of these in the inaugural series with Pakistan.
He was in a really good form, I would say. And against England as well as against Pakistan, he bowled very well. Fazil Muhammad was supposed to be the opening best bowler in the side, and Hanif Muhammad was another. And the opening batsman, Nazar Muhammad, was also good.
In this somewhat topsy-turvy series, India won the first test quite easily. But there were no hundreds in this match. Although Mankad grabbed 13 for 131 in this game. The second test, Pakistan won without much difficulty, with Fazal Mahmood, the star, with match figures of 12 for 94. Nazar Muhammad got a slow but sure 100. Finally, in the third of this 5-test series, India re-emerged on top and by virtue of it took the rubber 2-1. Hazare coming back to the side with 100 and Hanif getting a very good innings of 96 there. In 1956, Mankad and Roy got 413 runs for the first wicket against New Zealand. Then in 1958, Subhash Gupte took 9 wickets against the West Indies. But even after more than 27 years in Test cricket, India still had not beaten a full-strength side from any of the then major cricketing nations, namely England, Australia, or the West Indies. Indeed, when Richie Benaud's Australians, fresh from their facile 4-0 victory over England, arrived in India in 1959, India immediately lost the first test by an innings at Delhi. The next stop was Kanpur, where for the first time a test was being played on a turf wicket.
Winning the toss on a wicket which has been newly laid is always advantageous because you know it's not going to get any better, it's going to get worse. And this was a newly turf laid wicket. Before that it was always a matting wicket. And I couldn't see any grass or any turf or anything on it. And the wicket was also a little dicey. It looked to me a little dicey, sort of softish. And I thought even if it did get dry as the day progressed or the next 2-3 days, it wouldn't get any better. So I plumped straight away to bat on it first.
There was no point in bowling medium pace or fast there. Davidson was a great and most versatile bowler, and he concentrated on spin there. Actually, we weren't as well equipped as India in those conditions, nor do we have anyone who bowled as well as Jasu Patel. He bowled as one would expect an off-spinner of test match quality to bowl. I don't think Jasu was one of the great off-spinners of all time, but he was certainly a good enough bowler for us on that pitch. He was too good for us.
Luckily for us, everybody chipped in with Nutty Contractor making a useful, as a matter of fact, that was the highest, 74 of the match. Once we had got Harvey and O'Neill, it was more or less curtains for them, you know. And Paulie Umrigar, as I said, he was also bowling a tight length, and he got both these wickets.
India batting poorly after winning the toss. The highest score there only 25 from Bapu Nadkarni. Davidson, the chief wrecker, Richie Benaud also among the wickets with his leg spin. In reply, McDonald 53, Neil Harvey 51, and a good innings lower down from Davidson 41. And there the famous figures of 9 for 69 from Jasu Patel. Nari Contractor playing a crucial knock of 74 in the second venture. Useful contributions lower down in the order. Davidson capturing 12 wickets in the match, 7 in the second. Finally, Australia crumbling for just 105 in the final innings. Umrigar this time chipping in with 4 for 27. However, despite that creditable showing, India completed all but 3 decades in Test cricket without a single series win against any of the more established teams in Test cricket.
In fact, even against another slightly second-string MCC party under Ted Dexter in 1961-62, India no more than drew the first 3 tests of that series.
Calcutta wicket was good. They were 170, 180 odd for 5, I think. And it was lunch on the 3rd day. And we had to have a breakthrough. Things were going England's way, and the new ball was due. I consulted all my seniors and my chairman of the selection committee, and all were of the opinion that we should take the new ball. I also decided to take the new ball, but the sixth sense was telling me that I think I should continue with the spinners. So much so that when we went onto the field, I took the new ball and gave it to Ramakant Desai, who measured up his run and was ready to begin his run up. When I said, please excuse me, stop, took the new ball back, brought in Chandu again, and started the after lunch proceedings. Believe me, I knew I was sticking my neck out because I was acting against the wishes of all those who had decided to take the new ball. And I was guilty of not following the instruction, the consensus who had said that. But, well, I think that's the way this game goes. And when something tells you that you have to do and you do it, well, I think I was lucky enough to succeed. And in the first overs, Chandu got Ted Dexter bowled, and he was batting with 50 odd, and then in the next over Salim got a wicket, and in the next over Chandu got a wicket, and in the space of next 22 runs the whole England side was out. And that is where we got into the winning position. I think the Madras wicket played practically the same throughout. Highest number of runs was scored in the pre-lunch session in the series in this particular test match. I think once, even Jai scored a few runs, but even after Jai got out, when Nawab came in, the tempo was maintained, and I think we were 130 or 40 odd before lunch. And that set the tempo. Chandu got Ted Dexter out thrice, clean bowled. He practically yogged him leg stump on all the occasions. You know what I mean? When you get a thing like this working for you, it is a very, very big plus. I had no hesitation to throw the ball to Chandu. Immediately Ted came into bat.
And so India came into their own in that 4th test at Calcutta. Batting first, they got a good total of 380, and from then onwards they were right on top. Towards the end, Durrani and Borde bowled marvellously with their left arm spin and leg spin respectively. In the final test at Madras, Patodi got a maiden 100 in only his 3rd test appearance, and from then onwards India were again holding the whip hand. Eventually India winning by 128 runs. One of the heroes of that series against England was Vijay Manjrekar, one of the best batsmen India have produced. Then Farooq Engineer blasted to 100 almost before lunch at Madras against the West Indies in 1967. Next to hit the headlines was Mansur Ali Khan Patodi, first with a fighting 100 at Headingley in the summer of '67.
Olivier bowls Patodi catches, there's his century. 4 runs, wide of third man's left hand.
And later that same year, Patodi scored 75 and 85 in 2 test innings at Melbourne, sufficient to move critics to label him the Nawab of Headingley and Melbourne.
As as the series progressed, we tended to get more confident and do better. In fact, we should have won the last test at Brisbane, which we lost by about 25 odd runs, if I remember correctly. So we were getting into a team sort of spirit by the end of the tour. And this was a tour of Australia after 20 years, after Amarnath's team had been there in 47. So a lot of things were strange to us. Nobody had been there before. And it took time for the team to settle. And by the time we got to New Zealand, I think we all knew pretty well what we had to do.
Was it also a factor that New Zealand weren't as strong as the Australians that helped you to do better?
I think that was certainly one factor. And the other more important factor was the fact that we now came on wickets which were slower, a little spongier, and gave much more purchase to our spinners than the Australian wickets, which were a bit harder. And throughout that New Zealand series, the spinners really did themselves very proud. And I think a number of catches were taken, more catches than perhaps during any other 4 test match series. So we improved our fielding. As we went on with our confidence, it also improved.
So to look back on that first test at Dunedin, and it happened to be India's first ever victory abroad, what would be your main memories?
I think what comes straight to mind is Ramakant Desai's innings with a broken jaw. He has always been a very tough player, but this was a remarkable effort. And the way he played the innings gave us a lot of confidence, a lot of hope. And apart from the fact that Michael Dowling also got a very good 100, we realized that if we did play to the best of our ability, that we were quite capable of beating New Zealand.
And we also had some fine performances from Wadekar and Prasanna.
Yes, Wadekar came into his own on those slow wickets. He found the harder wickets in Australia, where he tended to play slightly across the line of the ball on the off stump. He was getting caught behind and missing and playing a sort of bane of a left-hander anyway. And one or two of our other main batsmen didn't score as heavily as one expected in Australia. But on these slow wickets, people like Rusi Surti, Wadekar and so on, they came into their own and did pretty well.
And what about Prasanna?
Prasanna again found, well, he couldn't get many LBWs, which annoyed him, but he found that he could turn the ball more. He'd bowled magnificently in Australia also with a limited onside field. And here he got more purchase, more turn, didn't have the same class of batsmen. They would tend to lunge forward or to heave. So we basically put 3 men close and 3 men in the deep. So either they were caught bat-pad, or if they heaved, they were caught on the boundary line.
But having won that first test so comfortably, you immediately went on to lose the second one. Why was this the case?
I think it was just one of those things. I can't explain exactly why, but we knew in our minds that by the time the first test was finished that we intended to win the series, and we stood a very good chance. It's just one of those things. We went on to win the other 2 test matches reasonably well. You call it an aberration of some kind. Perhaps we were not as professional as we should have been.
And the high water mark for India on that tour was the bowling of Irapalli Prasanna. In batting, Ajit Wadekar distinguished himself. And in terms of all-round performances, it was Rusi Surti who was the pick of the players.
While this was admittedly not an insignificant achievement, it was, to be absolutely honest, nothing to write home about. For victory over New Zealand in those days was only to be expected. In short, defeating one of the major outfits, namely England, Australia, or the West Indies, on foreign soil, now became the next necessity in the march of Indian cricket. Indeed, the Indians up to this point had never beaten the West Indians even at home, let alone in the Caribbean. But all this was to change in March 1971, when India imprinted the first of 2 sensational successes here at the Queen's Park Oval, Port of Spain.
When we landed in Port of Spain, I had a look at the wicket, and I thought that this is the chance to win. And the wicket was nicely rolled up, but it looked a little bit funny, and I was hoping that I would lose a toss. And luckily I lost the toss, and the Sobers had no choice but to elect to bat.
Trinidad wicket is always a wicket that takes spin, and India have always produced great spinners. And in that particular test, we didn't win the toss and batted. India won the toss and sent us into bat, which is a regular occurrence in the West Indies. We had Nayudu, who I believe got 9 wickets in that particular match, and that only shows that if he could have done that with the Indian spin attack, Bishan Bedi, I think Venkat was there too, and there were experienced bowlers, and therefore they used the conditions far better than we did.
When Lloyd was batting, I switched myself from slip to switched to mid-wicket, short mid-wicket, and the moment Salim I brought in, he just offered me a catch. Of course, that was a hard one, but it came straight to me. And the second ball, Gary Sober's fist was bowled completely, I think, and the ball turned from the rough. And those 2 wickets really knocked them out. They lost all this determination to get as many runs as possible. And we had hardly 124 runs to score in the second inning, which we got easily. Of course, Dilip Sardesai batted extremely well. Then our Sunil Gavaskar, who missed the first test match because of the injury, he on his debut itself, he scored 68 odd runs in both the innings and brilliantly batted. And that's where the star was born.
So Wadekar and Gary Sobers not agreeing on who won the toss in that test match, but Charlie Davis easily the pick of the West Indian batsman. And the pick of the Indian bowlers, Erapalli Prasanna. And a brilliant knock there from Dilip Sardesai, again in a difficult situation. Good support from Solka. A sensational haul there for Jack Noriga. Davis again one of the heroes, but the top scorer in the second innings, Roy Fredericks with 80. Good knock there. Venkatraghavan 5, 2 crucial wickets to the Rani. And easy going for India in the 4th venture with Sunil Gavaskar, the star, with 67 not out. India winning by 7 wickets. And for academic interest, Barrett 3 wickets.
Within months of that historic breakthrough, which some described as a flash in the pan, India were in England. Here, they obtained an honourable draw in the first test, a less distinguished one in the second, and so it was all or nothing in the third and final test at the Oval.
It's a jolly good blow. It's a 6, a magnificent blow over long off. Oliveira looking to get off the mark. There's a good throw by Solka, and Jamison's run out. Oh, what a tragedy for John Jamison. The second time in successive test matches he's been run out, and if anybody thought there must have been a certain test 100 for this batsman, it was on this ground today. Hitting away on the leg side. It was a bit of a slog, but he's middled it and he's hit it for 6. Very effective shot from Alan Knott, hitting with the spin. It's a magnificent stroke by Hutton. 4 runs. Really handsome off drive.
He's done it. He's out. Portland bowled Solka.
Now Derek Underwood from the Vauxhall end, coming into Wadekar. Swung that away with the spin over mid-wicket.
And he's hit that over mid-wicket for 4 runs.
Always bowled him. And it turned.
pushing forward and the leg stump knocked out. Sardesai bowled by an off-spinner from Ray Illingworth, and so it's not to be a 100 partnership. The third wicket down, and Sardesai out for 54. And that is out, caught by Hutton at slip. Wadekar is out for 48. And he's found the gap. And that looks like 3 runs too. And that brings Engineer to his 50. Pulled him for 3 runs. Off the edge, and it's caught, beautifully caught at second slip by Fletcher. What a lovely catch. So D'Oliveira has done the trick again as a change bowler. Chandra to Edridge. Oh! Middle and off.
Well, this is an uncomfortable period for Keith Fletcher. Just 3 balls to go before lunch.
He's gone. Bat and pad. Caught by Solkar. What an over from Chandra. That must be lunch. What a remarkable game this cricket is. 3 wickets gone in a flash, and India riding high.
Well, it's gone up in the air, and it should be a catch. And very easily and comfortably taken by substitute fieldsman Jayantial. Never in any trouble at all. But trouble now for England with Basil D'Oliveira falling with a score at 49. Looking to hit Venkat over the top, bowling without anybody on the fence, but much too high. And he's out, he's caught back pad, a fine catch. Alan Nod is out, Salker's done it again, diving in from that forward short leg position.
So still these 3 short legs hovering just a few yards away from Illingworth, silly mid-off.
And he's caught and bowled. Full toss, driven straight back at Chandrasekhar.
And it's through past Bedi for 4 runs. Oh, what a good catch. Venkat at slip, and look at Chandra. What a day for India. Caught and bowled. Just as the England captain went, so now John Snow. Caught and bowled, chipping the half volley straight back. 2 wickets in the over. He's hit it away uppishly, and it could be out. He's caught! Underwood is caught by Mankad. A nice running catch. He had about 10 yards, 15 yards to run in. Took it very well indeed. So the 9th English wicket is down. Underwood is out for 11.
Chandrasekhar comes into price. And he's out, LBW. Coming through for a single. Good throw and he's out. Waddicker run out. And really that was a wicket thrown away by the Indians. Absolutely no need for him to take it again. Superb throw by D'Oliveira, right over the top. Just the one slip, must have limit off now. Certainly tossed high, and a brilliant catch there by Alan Knott. And that slow bowl paying really good dividends. Changed his tactics, tossed it upturned, and he's got the wicket. Vital wicket, of course. Sardesai out for 40. Oh, it's a handsome straight drive for 4 runs. Surely the deciding blow in this whole match. Oh, really, no question now. Still 5 wickets remaining. 3 runs wanted. And he's out. But he's cut that away, and that's going to be it. It's going through for the boundary. Nobody bothering to chase it. Abid Ali cutting Luckhurst away for 4 and giving India victory here in the Oval Test match. 174 for 6. A victory to the touring side by 4 wickets.
The euphoria arising out of 1971 was, however, rather short-lived, with India, after defeating Tony Lewis's side at home in 1972-73, slumping to a 3-0 setback in as many tests in England in 1974, which included, embarrassingly enough, an innings of 42 all-out in the second venture of the Lord's Test. This trend somewhat continued when India were thrashed by an innings at Barbados in the first test of the 1976 series in the West Indies. In the second test, India enjoyed much the better of the encounter. The third test was, as they say in the Caribbean, something else, man.
359 runs for the West Indians was not a terribly big score, considering the kind of batters they had then. Vivian Richards, Clive Lloyd and Roy Fredericks. To my mind, Vivian was exceptionally lucky that he was let off time and again behind the stumps. And on one particular occasion when he was stumped by a mile almost, and I remember this umpire gave him not out. Vivian got 177 and Kali got 100. They both played brilliantly. But I wouldn't like to think that we bowled badly. You know, we had only 3 bowlers amongst us, just the 3 spinners, myself, Chandra and Venkat. And Chandra got 6 in the first innings and 2 in the second innings. I picked up 4 in the first and 1 in the second, and then Venkat got 3 in the second innings, which was a reasonably good contribution.
Having made 359, we were quite happy. And then when we bowled England out, India out for 228, well, it's obvious that you thought that you were laughing, we were on top throughout the game. And then we gave them 400 odd to make, which I would think in anybody's book is, you'd only back one person, that's the person, the team that's bowling. Unfortunately, our spinners, again, didn't do as well as they should have.
And the West Indians declared in the second innings. I don't think it was a matter of making a game out of it. They generally meant to win the game, because they thought, well, if the Indian spinners can turn on that track, why can't the home team bowlers? And, well, they tried, but our batsmen showed a lot more determination and dedication, and a lot more sense of purpose, especially Gavaskar, Vishwanath and Mahendra Amarnath, followed by Brajesh Patel. It was a great, great win. I tell you, one of the dream wins one can ever imagine.
Vivian Richards, a trifle lucky to get those runs there, but no doubt about Clive Lloyd, and Julian also playing pretty well. And once again, it's Chandra, supported by Bedi. India batting poorly in response. 41 from Vishwanath, 42 from Madan Lal, the only two respectable contributions. Holding magnificent with 6 for 65. A typically skillful knock of 103 from Alvin Kalicharan. The rest of the West Indian batting not so incisive. And the Indians sharing the spoils, Chandra 2, Venkat 3. And the great fourth innings, Gavaskar 100, Vishwanath 100, 85 from Amarnath and 49 from Brijesh Patel. And the West Indian bowling not making much headway. Following that great win, India went on to establish a record losing total of 445 in the fourth innings of a test match at Adelaide in 1978. Then, at the Oval in London in 1979, India were asked to score 438 in the last venture in no more than 500 minutes to win a test match. And India, to their great credit, actually got to 429 for 8 when stumps were drawn for the match. An effort made memorable by a knock of 221 by Sunil Gavaskar.
Splendid stroke to bring up the 100 for this fine batsman. Here's his 200. A super innings.
But the next truly tangible triumph was not until February 1981 at this magnificent Melbourne cricket ground. Here in the 1977-78 series, India had recorded their first ever victory in a test match in Australia. This time in 1981, India arrived at the MCG for the final test in a 3-test series, having already lost the first test at Sydney quite comprehensively. And to their added disappointment, they lost the toss here and were put into bat on a pretty unpredictable wicket.
Great chapeau to Vishwanath. That's a fine stroke. He's very strong in that area. Very good cutter, Vishwanath. And only the second boundary of the morning. A classic stroke there, back cut. Lily to Patil.
What a shot. Straight down the ground. Beautiful shot by Sandeep Patil. A bad delivery from Dennis Lilly.
Sandeep Patil had been playing splendid attacking strokes and playing them with intelligence and discretion. But Lilly and Marsh outthought him here with this tempting bouncer.
Goes the hook and he's out. Yes, well bowled Dennis Lilly, kept it up. He's got one in
Keeps
short.
to Kiamani. The clipper, but too short. Harshly dealt with by Kiamani. Takes 4 runs from it.
Well, that's cut away, and Vishwanath's always been pretty strong in that area. And once again, getting that ball off the middle of the bat. It was a little bit uppish. And see if we can pick up this time the roll of the wrist over the top of the ball. There it goes, and once again there's a big appeal. He's given him out. Yes, it succeeded for him. A magnificent leg cutter. The ball pitching just around the bat off stump, perhaps just outside, leaving the bat, finding the edge of Kiamani's bat and going through to Rod Myers. What a fantastic bowl. And perfectly described Tony Gregg. We watched Dennis Lilly come in. He's working on that seam, and over go the fingers. And the ball pitching, just cutting away from Kiamani, finding the outside edge, and look at the jubilance in Dennis Lilly as he goes down the wicket.
Vishwanath faces Jim Higgs.
Fielding very close, looking to cut off that single.
And he finds a gap, beats cover, and that's 4 runs and well played, Vishy. A fine hand. Came in when the score was 2 for 22, showed a lot of courage and some glorious stroke play. A generous round of applause, standing ovation for the outer, and A lot of courage in that century. Been struggling all summer.
Vishwanath, the hero of the Indian innings, and the wicket the Australians needed so much at this stage. And that's out, I'd say inside edge. Inside edge on a pad and on to slip. That's the way it seemed to be from here. Whether Vishwanath is entirely delighted about it, I don't know.
He doesn't appear to be, but he's rather unemotional. As we can judge the better. And this ball from Yardley turning and clipping the pad. It almost seemed that that ball passed between bat and pad.
Great stroke. Splendid way to bring up the half-century for Greg Chappell. Shivlal Yadav to Alan Border.
Spinners from round the wicket to Chappell. Straight back there, Mr. O'Neill is gone. Caught and bowled by Garvey. Well, my goodness. Chappell losing concentration for just a half second there, smashing it back down the ground. And Garvey never at any stage looked as if he was going to drop that.
Shivlal Yadav to Alan Border. Very nicely timed stroke away down to the fine leg fence, and Alan Border goes into the 70s. Shivlal Yadav concentrating on his leg stump.
The drive, and he's got it through the gap, and I think they'll get three here. This will be his 100. It's a fine shot. It's rolling away out towards the boundary, and it's going to be 4. So Alan Border century. And what a good century it's been when you consider that he's had a tough season. The crowd there on their feet applauding what has been a very, very good knock by him. Fighting every yard of the way. 101 to Alan Border.
A welcome return to the Century Club for Alan Border in tests.
Sondhi Patil to Doug Walters.
That's well played. Right off the back foot there and placing that ball very, very well. Hitting it down the ground, just past the stumps at the bowler's end, and 4 runs to him. Very well timed too.
Shivlal Yadav now to Alan Border. This is rather an anticlimax to a very good innings, but it certainly is a brilliant piece of umpiring. Well, they're appealing for Bowl there. Well, Shivlal's appealing. Didn't see much from Kiamani. And the umpire at the bowler's end was quite right. He couldn't possibly have seen it, and he needed to refer it to the umpire at square leg. No great excitement there, but we'll have another look at the side-on shot in a moment. And I think you'll see that the ball strikes the leg stump very faintly, but it does strike it. No question that that is out bowled, and the umpire at the bowler's end did the right thing. He spoke to the umpire at square leg. And no question of that, the ball bounced back, in fact. Doshi to Walters.
Oh, he's gone. The little left hand has got through him. Walters coming down to drive. Fine piece of work by Kiamani. Finally, Dilip Doshi strikes, and at a vital time for India, a good wicket.
Well, great concentration by Kiamani. Waiting all this time for that stumping. The ball looked as though it may have been going to hit the stumps, and Kiamani's gloves were there. Walters coming down, looking for the single. He really didn't go after it in the normal Walters fashion. A good piece of work by Kiamani, just removing the bails.
Dennis Lilly to Gavaskar. And Gavaskar will take full toll of anything that's loose.
That's the sort of form that you expect from this great batsman.
Higgs to Chauhan. And there's that stroke again. One thing he may have to do is pull Alan Border across a bit straighter there in that short cover position. Yardley to Gavaskar.
Ooh, and he's pulled it out. This time he's got hold of it. A magnificent hit down through long on. A rush of blood, possibly, that he moves on to 49, realising that India need runs if they're going to win this match, as well as occupying the crease.
That one played off the face of the bat, run away down to third man, and that'll be 4. And that's Chetan Chauhan's 50.
This season may well be remembered as the summer of controversy, and it seems from this episode that the summer hasn't yet finished.
Well, that's close. That time he's got him, playing back. The Indian captain, not happy, saying that he may have hit that. What's going on? He's saying, please, please, what a tour. Gavaskar suggesting that he got a thick edge onto that delivery.
Not prepared to leave the ground.
And, well, what a sensation, Ian. Cutting in there, he's taking his opening bat off with him. Does that mean he's declared? Or conceded the match? Surely not. Have a rethink, Sunil. When he gets in the calm of the dressing room, I'm quite sure that his teammates will come back, but he's a very, very annoyed captain. An LBW decision, the Australian players in a circle. The Indian captain taking his partner off the field.
Well, let's also remember that that now takes Dennis Lee to 248 wickets. And I think we've got the wing commander, the manager, wing commander, and he is telling Chauhan to stay there and sending Ben Sarkar out. So that's a good move there on behalf of the manager of the Indian side, and it's a very upset Gavaskar who leaves the ground.
We're going to have a listen with our audio full up in this defensive prod. I couldn't really tell, to be quite honest, but certainly I'd take Gavaskar's word that he thought he hit that ball.
I agreed with the umpiring decision. It was the first time in the series that Sunil had made runs. He'd had a fairly disappointing series for himself, and I think a very frustrating series. I think he believed that he'd had a number of decisions that were indifferent, and he believed on this occasion that the decision was wrong. The way he indicated with the bat was that he felt that he'd hit the ball before it made contact with his pads. I was in a difficult position at first slip to tell whether he'd made contact, but your instinct tells you when some things are more likely to happen than not. I felt that it was unlikely that he'd made contact with the bat first.
I wasn't out then, and I don't think it makes a difference now, because it was a thick inside edge onto the pads. But I now know, looking back now, that I shouldn't have done what I did.
And that's out. That's what India didn't need. A short pitch, Chetan Chauhan, and the record for Dennis
Lily to Doshi. Oh, well, that ran along the ground, the same as Yashpal Sharma's. 143 to win Australia now.
Doshi can't believe it, and he leaves the ground. India are 9 for 324.
Off the thigh pad, it isn't out. Dear, oh dear. Well, it's been tough on umpires this summer, but if John Dyson hit that, I'll go he.
Greg Chappell has had some tense moments at the start of some of his recent innings, and here today, facing his first ball from Garbry, there's not the slightest need to consult the umpire.
Oh, there's a big shot. He's bowling round his legs. What a sensation at the moment. Cricket ground. Chappell putting too far across. Bowled without scoring, and what a match now.
Oh, there's Bowling. What a great delivery by Dilip Doshi. That was fantastic bowling. My goodness, a quicker ball there, keeping low. Hughes making the mistake of trying to cut off the back foot, and he was bowled hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, well. Rishadi gets 2 on the trot. That one keeping even lower than the first. Border faces Kapil Dev.
Chance, yes, he's got him. A fine deflection. Border standing, but there was a deflection there, and well caught by Kimani. The Indians pointing to the dressing room. Yashpal Sharma said, off you go. And it's 6 for 55. Bowled him round his legs. Yes, the ball keeping low marsh, too far across. Not the best shot I've ever seen from Rodney Marsh, but persistence for Kapil Dev. Australia 7 for 61.
Still of Doshi to Walters.
In early 1985, Muhammad Azharuddin exploded onto the international scene with 300s in his first 3 tests. Within a year of winning the Prudential World Cup, India lifted the first Rothmans Asia Cup at Sharjah. But a much bigger test of their supremacy awaited them when, after a notably poor display against England at home, India were invited to defend their newly acquired reputation in one-day cricket in the Benson and Hedges World Championship of Cricket in Australia. And India proved that their World Cup win was no fluke by beating Pakistan, England and Australia in the league stage of the tournament quite easily to earn the right to meet New Zealand in the last 4 stage.
Kapil Dev strikes the winning blow. It'll just be a single. Ball will stop short of the boundary. And so India claim victory in the 44th over.
Now the final. The 2 teams, India and Pakistan, thoroughly deserved to be there. They certainly weren't favourites with the bookmakers when the competition began. They played tremendously well all the way through, and this is going to be a very, very good clash indeed. Oh, knocked him over. First cherry, a great Yorker. Qasim Omar, who played so well in the defeat of the West Indies the other evening, has gone without scoring, and India are right on top.
Sheer pace, swinging Yorker, new batsman, beautiful line, pitched about middle leg, swung in a bit, hitting across the line, took off stump. Beautiful piece of bowling by Kapil Dev. He's on a hat-trick, Pakistan reeling as Omar departs without scoring. And what a buzz around the Melbourne cricket ground. 3 for 29.
That's a beautiful stroke. Away over cover. Imran Khan starting to cut loose.
Then in the West Indies in 1983, he tackled the fearsome fast bowlers there like a man possessed. And for runs, he was into it really quickly, and the crowd is taking this action on there. It was
Stumps
well
out.
hit. Jack was
Imran Khan gone. Tragedy there.
Yes,
as
he
far
did.
as
He does play.
the Pakistanis are
3 for
concerned.
21, 17 to Amarnath.
Imran Khan and Shahid Mian had a misunderstanding.
Down to square leg forwards.
Imran looking for the single. And a lovely
However,
pick up and throw.
In one area,
yes, there was
the
no run
Indians
here.
were still
Imran called for it.
rather lagging
I
behind.
don't think there was a run,
that
and he had to
was
go back
in
very
the count
quickly.
of
Direct
one-day
hit there.
cricket.
And
In
had
the
they run,
two
I reckon
Prudential
Jarvid would have been
World
out
Cup
by 3 or 4 yards.
1975
Imran calling, perhaps calling incorrectly.
India
And that's a
had
big blow for
mustered
the
just
Pakistanis.
a
He's out for
solitary
35.
success That
And a
over
lovely bit of
East
fielding there
Africa
by the
in the
Indian
inaugural
captain.
tournament.
Pakistan 5 for
In fact,
101.
in 1979, India experienced
Chris
the
is gone, is he?
ignominy
It's a
of
good
defeat
effort.
at the
No,
hands of
he's
Sri
got
Lanka.
him. What a good
Then,
piece of bowling.
still to be
An
elevated
excellent
to
leg break.
official
Got him forward
test
and spun a
status.
mile.
Thus,
Had the bails
when
off.
India,
A brilliant
in
piece of
spite of
cricket.
the subsequent improvement,
And it looks
entered
as
the
though
fray
India are
in
going
the
to bowl yet
1983
another
World
side
Cup.
out with
Not
Shiva
many
Ramakrishnan
rated
now on the
their
hat-trick.
chances as being
So
particularly
handed out for
bright.
48, 7 for 131.
In fact,
Ball hit. And one bounce over the fence. It's a good shot from Wasim Raja. Pakistan made 183 against India in the preliminary round match. And so, for the first time, India haven't bowled out the opposition. They've gone very close. 9 for 176.
Well, that's down the ground. This could be out, or is it 6? It's going over the top. It's 6. Another 6.
The pressure now on the Pakistani bowlers. It wasn't Raja, and he's hit that in the air. The man's getting under this one. He's got a chance. He's dropped it. It's gone over the fence for 6. I believe that bounced out of his hands and went for 6. He's called 4. Let's have a look at that replay. A well-hit ball.
Srikanth right to the pitch of the ball. For a moment, it looked as though it was going to be caught, the deflection, and into the fence. For a moment, Bill, it looked as though it went over the top.
Cuts it gone. Caught at point. Well caught by Wasim Raja. It was short. Imran dropped it in. He slashed square, and Raja took a great catch.
And that went like a rocket to Wasim Raja at backward point. Srikanth led off a couple of overs ago, but this was not to be another one. Good sharp chance taken by Wasim Raja. So Imran Khan picking up the wicket they needed, but is it too late? Srikanth out for 67 and India won for 103 in this 29th over. And he's hit that one over the top, down towards the boundary, a deep mid-wicket.
There it is, victory for India. Well played, a fantastic performance, victory by 8 wickets.
But sadly, India, around this juncture, were making rather heavy weather of their test commitments. The batting, on paper, was probably the best in the world, but the ineptitude in bowling made it difficult for the Indians to dismiss an opposition twice in a match. Besides, when India, under Kapil Dev, landed in England in 1986, it was the first half of the summer, always the bane of Indian cricket.
Life is suddenly better.
And Gooch got 114 to be precise. A good innings lower down from Derek Pringle. The rest of the England batting, obviously, a failure. A tidy performance there from Chetan Sharma. Binny, too, among the wickets.
There it is. Tip and run. Van Saiker has made another 100.
And 126 not out it was, with a patient innings of 69 from Lala Amarnath to carry India to a comfortable first innings lead. Graham Dilley picking up 4 wickets to emerge as the most successful England bowler.
Oh, that must be out. And that's fine bowling by Kapil Dev, who tried plenty of variations during that over. Experimented with the short ball. And the catch arriving safely in the hands of Mohinder Amarnath in the gully. So Tim Robinson goes. Confident appeal, and Gooch is gone.
That's beautifully bowled. And I think Gow knew instantly he was gone.
And so Kapil slicing through the top half of the England batting in the second innings. Only Gatting and Lamb showing any resistance. Maninder also very penetrative with figures of 20.4 overs, 12 maidens, 9 runs and 3 wickets.
What a way to finish. A magnificent 6 from Kapil Dev. It's his first Test match victory as captain. The first time India have beaten England at Lord's.
In the second test of this series, it was an even better batting display by Dilip Vengsarkar, who top scored with 61 in the first innings.
There's a lovely free swing of the bat. Doesn't matter that this ground is slightly on the small side. You could have had a full-size ground. That would have been way over the top.
Replying in the first innings, England came up against an irrepressible Roger Binney, who captured 5 wickets for 40 runs.
Roger Binney has struck.
Then Vengsarkar produced on a difficult pitch the innings of the series, 102 not out.
A splendid century for Dilip Vengsarkar. I'd mark that down as a better 100 than the one he made at Lord's. Much more difficult conditions here on a pitch of variable bounce.
So India setting England a well-nigh impossible target of 408 to win, with plenty of time in hand to bowl the home side out a second time. Finally, Maninder Singh took 4 for 26 in the fourth innings to give India a victory by 279 runs.
Beat Pringle, caught on the back foot. Completely beaten in the air. And I think Maninder Singh will have deserved that. He's beaten the bat 3 or 4 times this morning. And so Pringle goes. Take another look at Derek Pringle. Again, the close fielder there, just stopping the batsman from coming forward. It's amazing how it just gets into the mind that you can't push out.
Madras has been one of India's happy hunting grounds. But this time, something even more glorious than just a test match win was about to unfold itself in the meeting with Australia. The visitors amassed a huge total of 574 for 7, with David Boone showing the way with 122. Dean Jones followed with a career-best 210. And skipper Alan Border completed the hammering with a typically skillful 106. India were in danger of following on, but was saved by a superb knock from captain Kapil Dev. Australia then declared their second innings on 170 for 5 at the end of the fourth day, thus setting India a target of 348 runs to win on the final day. India took up the challenge, and Sunil Gavaskar led the chase with a brilliant innings of 90. Shastri persevered on a similar note, but when the final over of the match began, he was left with only the number 11 batsman Maninder Singh as partner.
They've attacked, they've kept the ball in play, they've kept the ball at the wickets, and really challenged India all the way. I think the draw is the best. 5 balls remain, 4 runs to get Matthews to Shastri. Was tied. We are looking at an incredible possibility.
From the Indian point of view, all they want is for Maninder to push a single run. What a test match. Scores tied. 3 balls remain. The craftiest of Australian bowlers, Matthews, entrusted with the bowling. 2 balls to go. Two balls to go in this match. 1 run to win. 1 wicket to fall. Remember, India can't lose this match. They can either be a tie or India win. It's a tie.
I must admit, towards the end of the 4th day, runs were being hard to come by. I mean, we're in a position where, you know, we should have been throwing the bat a little bit more and throwing caution to the wind, and obviously the more runs we had in on the board at that stage meant that India, you know, had no chance of winning, and we were the only side that had a chance. But what I was forced to do was make a decision overnight. We were about 350 odd runs in front, and the decision was that whether we should declare overnight or bat on a little bit in the morning and make sure that we couldn't lose, but also, you know, because we didn't have as much time as we wanted to bowl India out, it was a very tough decision. But both Bob Simpson and I sat down and we worked out that no side had scored 350 runs in a day. Not too many sides had scored 350 runs in the 4th innings of a test match to win. So all the statistics were in our favour, but what happened on the 5th day is sort of history now. It was just, you know, tension-packed cricket, you know, right throughout, and you know, that magnificent final result.
I still feel we should have won that match. I mean, the ties there, people do talk about history. History is when you win the test match as well.
I think, if I have to be honest about it, it was a game that, in the end, India should have won, and that we came back from the losing position to a point where we possibly could have won, but, you know, to be honest, I think I was very, very happy with the final result, a tie. It was probably a true indication of how both teams had played it. It would have been very, very sad if either side had lost under those circumstances after that much, you know, tension-packed cricket. For Greg Matthews to bowl 30-odd overs on that last day under those conditions, with that sort of pressure, was just a magnificent performance. And, you know, he took 10 wickets in the match, and I thought that was just an absolutely superb performance on that wicket in those circumstances.
Bye.